everybody, welcome back to my channel. It's Christine. I know it's been a while. Life and my health have been bad. So I'm going to do a currently reading and then a life and health update. So if you just want to know what the books I'm reading are, I'm going to do that first. And then I will get to the life and health. So if you don't want to hear about it, it will be TMI. Then you can just switch off and go about your day. So, currently reading, I am reading A Funny Story by Emily Henry. I'm loving it so far. I'm just a little bit halfway through. It is about a woman who breaks up with her fiance because he decides the morning after his bachelor party, he's in love with his best friend. So his best friend moves out of her apartment and she moves into the best friend's apartment as a roommate, who she was living with her ex now because of this. So it's a love story, friends to lovers, between her and her her name is Daphne. No, not Daphne. Is it Daphne? Yeah, Daphne. Daphne was engaged to Peter. Peter is now engaged to Petra, and Petra was engaged to Miles. So now Daphne is living with Miles, and Petra moved in with Peter. It's good. It's really good. At first I thought, how am I going to keep this all straight? But it works. So yeah, it's cute. The fact that Peter and Petra get engaged within a month of them breaking up it's a thing. So yeah, love it so far. I'm also reading Someone to Hold by Mary Ballow. It's a Westcott novel. It's book 2. So what happens in this is, in the first book, Anna is living in an orphanage. She discovers that she is the only legitimate child of her father, who has recently passed away, and finds out she's got 3 half-siblings who think that they are the only children of this man. And when they find out that they are, in fact, the illegitimate children, they are very angry. And so Anna wants to give them a quarter share of the inheritance, and they all say no. So this is Camille's story. She is the oldest illegitimate daughter, and she has moved back to Bath, where Anna was living at an orphanage, and she decides to take over Anna's previous job as a teacher and moves into the orphanage. She has no teaching skills, but she figures she's got to make her own way in life. And Anna's best friend, Joel, teaches at the school 2 days a week for art classes. So it's their story. And this is Pouncing on Murder. It's a Bookmobile cat mystery by Laurie Cass. I think it's book 4, I want to say. Yep, book 4 in the series. And she runs a bookmobile and seems to get herself caught up in a whole bunch of murders. And it takes place in Chilson, Michigan. I don't know if that's a real place because I don't recognize the name, but it's actually fairly close. The placement of it is fairly close to where I am. So this one is just an old man that used to go to the bookmobile all the time, passes away. And they think that he might have been murdered because of the way circumstances are happening. I'm not too far into it. It is what it is. And so after I finish, more than likely after I finish this one, I am going to pick up Untamed by Elizabeth Lowell. I don't know if it was for a challenge or if I just saw it there and I picked it up, but it's got to go back to the library very soon. But it's a hero of the Crusades. Dominic LeSabre has returned to Scotland in glory and triumph to claim his reward, the beautiful Saxon bride awarded to him as conqueror king. But Lady Margaret of Blackthorn cannot yield to the bold Norman invader. The beloved daughter of a sacred tribe of Celtic mystics, she fears an ancient curse that could bring further turmoil to her battle-scarred land, and sorrow to her marriage bed. With a word, the lady could turn her wedding into war, but there awaits in the noble knight's embrace a promise of passion unbound, and a love that neither violence nor treachery can tear asunder, a love both invincible and untamed. So, those are what I'm currently reading, what I probably will be reading for this week anyways. Okay, so if you're done, well, like, if you're just here for the books, then I will talk to you again soon, hopefully. But now I'm going to do the life and health updates. So, in February, I can't remember if I had recently told you, if I had told you that we had to have Apollo put down, but he went into kidney failure, and there was a very slim chance that they could correct it. So rather than have him in pain or do a whole bunch of things, we had him put down. And in March, sorry, in March my daughter was struggling, so we told her to move back here to try and get her head on her shoulders. It's been an ordeal. I don't know if she still watches these videos, but she's not getting her head on her shoulders at all. She's in a downward spiral, I want to say. But that's all I'm going to say about that. So she moved in with her 3 cats. So yeah, we have now Sparrow, Tigress, and Mimi, along with our 3 cats, Zeus, Razzle, and Pebbles. So that's pretty much life, health-wise. Okay. So, as you know, I was on Ozempic last year. And in October, I stopped it because I didn't think it was working. And I kept telling my doctor, my stomach is getting hard, my stomach is getting hard. Oh, there's Pebbles right behind me. He did nothing for it. The end of January, I needed to have my IUD changed. This is where it gets TMI. So my doctor tried 3 times, and I don't get anesthetic. I've never had anesthetic when I have an IUD removed. I know that's crazy. It doesn't bother me. I have a high tolerance for pain, so it's a little twinge and I'm done. She tried 3 times, and each time to get it, each time was worse and worse and worse. So she figured, okay, well, we're going to do an ultrasound to see if it's still there, where the string is, and we'll go from there. So March, I had an ultrasound, and it came back showing a cyst on my right ovary, which apparently it was there the last time. So every time I have an IUD changed, 6 weeks later, I have to have an ultrasound to make sure it's still in place. Okay. So it had showed in the previous 5 years ago that I have 1 cyst on my ovary. Okay, cool, whatever. In March, when the ultrasound came back saying that I had a fibroid, a major fibroid growing outside of the wall of my uterus. And I also have adenomyosis, which is the opposite of endometriosis. Instead of all the little bumps on the outside, I have it on the inside, so it's like a giant bruise, which makes it really easy for me to get pregnant because there's so much there. Anyways, so it came back that it was, I can't remember the first 2 numbers, but it was like a 10 centimeter, or was it a 14 centimeter fibroid. So it would have been the size of a 4 to 5 month pregnancy. So about like this big, give or take. So the IUD is still there, but the fibroid has pulled it up. So we figured, since I'm going to be 49 anyways, I'm not having any more children. The only way to get this out is because I have to have the fibroid removed. But because it's growing inside of the wall and not outside or inside the uterus, it's actually in the wall of the uterus, that I have to have a hysterectomy. Okay, cool. So we figured, okay, I'm either going to go to Barrie or Toronto. I picked Barrie because the surgeon there is a specialist with fibroids. So we wanted to get an MRI to make, like, for better picture. Ultrasound can only show so much, so the MRI would show better of what's going on in there. So the end of April, I had the MRI done. And then I went to the doctor and got the result. But we also had a colonoscopy because I was having other issues, and we didn't know if it was because of the Ozempic or if it was because of this fibroid. So I had a colonoscopy, everything's clear. We just figured it's partly Ozempic, partly fibroid, because of what we found out in the MRI. So the MRI showed that it was not in fact a 4 to 5 month size. It's a 7 to 8 month pregnancy size. So the fibroid is actually like that. And if I were to stand up right now, you would think I was pregnant because it's huge and it's hard. It's pushing on my bladder. It's pushing on my bowels or colon, intestines, everything. It's pushing on my stomach and it's pushing in my lungs. So actually, I don't usually show this too much, but that's the fibroid. So, and it's very hard. And it's actually hurting today. But, so, after that doctor's appointment where we got the results from the MRI, I came home and I had an email from the surgeon saying that I'll see you in June. An hour later, I get a phone call and they said, no, we're going to see you on May 29th. And May 29th was my 25th wedding anniversary. So I said, okay, why the change? And she said, because we got your MRI results. So it went from this big to this big. We need to get it out now. Okay, so me and my husband on our anniversary went down to Barrie, and we were happy because this is the first anniversary that we got to spend all day because he's usually working. So, the middle of May, I also lost my job. Sorry, itchy nose. Because of lack of sales, and then I think it has to do some with this because by the time I would be able to come back to work, it'd be after Christmas. So we go down to Barrie. I meet up with the surgeon, and she said that they're going to try and shrink it with this medication. And I've been on this medication before. It puts you into a medical menopause. I had no problems on it, so they're gonna try and shrink the fibroid, not in size but in density, because it is so big. It's taking so much blood supply that they're afraid that I might lose too much blood during surgery. My doctor here thought that she would have to open me up from almost my breastbone down to my C-section scars. The surgeon down there says no, she can do a couple of good things. So she's going to laparoscopically open me up, make sure nothing else is injured, because they're worried that the fibroid is attached to my bladder. So, and it has grown this big in less than 5 years. It's very aggressive. It's not a tumor, like it's considered a tumor, but it's not a cancerous tumor. She says, however, when she does this little thing that she does, there might be something inside of it. So we don't know. What she's going to do is she's going to go in, look at everything, detach everything, and then open up my C-section scar and take it out that way, actually after cutting it apart, the fibroid. That's on a good day. The surgery is going to take 6 to 12 hours. They're actually going to do it here because she still has rights to the hospital up here. Thank God, because driving 6 hours home is just not my ideal with all these incisions. Because she was here taking over for my doctor when my doctor was on medical leave for her daughter. So luckily we can do it here. Great. It's I think 3 to 4 day hospital stay, 6 to 12 hour surgery if nothing goes wrong. So my doctor figured, because the surgeon doesn't want to take my ovaries because, I'm not in menopause. My doctor figures because I'm so close to menopause, what's the point in keeping the ovaries there? So now I have to go back down to Barrie at the end of the month to re-sign papers to add my ovary removal. So far it was supposed to be just the fibroid and the uterus, the tubes. I think the cervix was coming out as well. Now we're adding the ovaries, so everything is coming out. And then my surgery is supposed to be around September 20th. I'm hoping to get the surgery date when I go down in July. But the fibroid doesn't feel like it's getting any softer, which is kind of upsetting. So I'm wondering if, because it's not getting any softer, she might have to up the date. We're hoping, because recovery time for this on a good day is going to be 3 to 6 months. I'm not going to be able to pick up anything heavier than 5 pounds. So I can't even pick up Pebbles because she weighs 7 pounds. My husband kind of lost his job. He switched jobs, and there's been a snafu with the new job. So we really don't have anything coming in right now. He does odd jobs to keep our mortgage going and the insurance, and but we're kind of struggling. I can't do much sewing wise. My sales have tanked on all my shops except for my doll clothes. But sewing, I don't have a whole lot of energy because this is sucking the energy out of me. So my husband is kind of very worried about what's going to happen, because I've had to sign papers for blood transfusions if I need them. Yeah, so I've been doing a lot of reading. I'm trying to do as much sewing as I can to try and get some money coming in for when this happens, because I know for the first 2 weeks I'm not going to be able to do anything. After that, it will just be small amounts here and there. So yeah, I thought I'd come on and let you know what's been going on, because it's been rough. There are some days where I just feel like curling up on the couch and crying because I'm just so stressed out. The one nice thing that has happened is my son graduated high school at the end of June, and he's now working full-time at his job that he had for the last 2 years as a summer job. He's full-time back with them now, so he's doing well. My mom, not so much. He's living with her to help her out, and she's kind of starting to get worse. So that's a stressor. My husband's also stressed because there's really nobody to help me after the surgery. My mother-in-law lives across the city. It's a 25 minute drive across the city to get to her house. My mom can't help me. My son will be working, my husband will be working, and my daughter is not reliable right now. So, yeah, it's been a trial. Had my other doctor, listened to me and did a test, this would have been dealt with months ago. Unfortunately, it took me needing my IUD changed to find out all of this stuff and to get the ball rolling. So this has been going on since February, the end of January, beginning of February. And hopefully it'll be done. Well, the surgery will be done at the end of September. And my recovery will take me into April next year. So, yeah, it's going to be a very big trial. We're hoping that nothing else goes wrong and everything inside is how it's supposed to be, meaning whatever the MRI showed is what it shows, and there's not going to be any complications, and I can just recover from that. So, yeah. And also, I want to shout out Sarah from Bookish Knitter, because she's going through her own. My health problems are nothing compared to hers. She needs to have a heart transplant, so me and my husband are sending her all the best, because I couldn't imagine being in her shoes right now. And the fact that she's so positive, like I'm trying to be positive about mine. Like, it is what it is. There's nothing I can do to change it. I'm just not trying to think about any complications that could happen. Whereas hers, it's her life. Like, so we're sending her best wishes and keeping her in our thoughts. So if you want to, I'm sure you all know who Sarah is, but I will post her link below just so you can go and give her some love as well, in case you don't. She's already in the hospital waiting and getting tests done and getting her ball rolling. So yeah, it's just, yeah. So if you made it this far, thank you. I appreciate it. And I will try and be on here more. It's just trying to get a video done with everything going on around me. It was difficult. I finally have the house to myself right now, because when Nikki's here, it's very contentious and very stressful. She goes and stays with her friends for a couple of days and then comes back and crashes and leaves and then comes back. So it's a thing. But anyways, I'm starting to ramble. So if you've made it this far, thank you very much. I appreciate it. And I will talk to you as soon as I can.